Everybody's worried about what Donnie Tanahas is going to do with climate change, right? What's he going to do? I told you before, anything Donnie Tanahas wants to do, really, he's got to, like if he wants to build the wall, he wants to ban all Muslims and stuff like those are the big things people are worried about. Paul Ryan is not going to shepherd that through the House, nor is Mitch McConnell going to bring it through the Senate. So if he wants to do crazy stuff like that, it's not going to happen. If he wants to do regular Republican stuff, that's like a regular Republican. Remember, we lived through 8 years of Dick Cheney. Darth Vader, the guy invaded other countries, ordered torture to cover it up, suspended the Constitution, you see what I'm saying? We lived through that guy. And that gave us Barack Obama. And Barack Obama we thought was FDR. Turned out he was just George Bush 2.0. He continued his economic plan. He codified his tax cuts. He made them permanent, which George Bush couldn't have. He continued his foreign policy. He exited Iraq on George Bush's timetable, then went back into Iraq. And then he never left Afghanistan. He went into Libya, turned that into a failed state. Now we're bombing Syria so much we ran out of bombs. And he's also doing what Chomsky calls the world's greatest terrorism program, the American drone policy. So he's bombing in 7 different countries. Now we're bombing Yemen, and people go, what is Trump going to do in the Middle East? Is there a country we haven't bombed yet? So my point being, let's get back to this. Climate change. Everybody's worried about climate change. You know what Barack Obama was doing about climate change? Fucking nothing. You remember how we couldn't stop talking about it? Every time he comes on TV, it's the issue of our time. No, I don't remember either. What was Barack Obama's response to climate change? He increased oil production in America to the highest rates ever. Record oil production in America. That was his response to climate change. Hey, when the polar ice collapse, when the polar ice melt lasted longer than normal, you know what the response was? Barack Obama, okay, drilling. Oh, really? So there's no ice up there anymore? Let's send a $500 million drill bit up there. That was Barack Obama's response. So
it was yes, we can.
Yes, we can. There was no, and if Hillary Clinton became president, there's nothing she's going to do about climate change. I mean, by the way, we're already past. It's already too late. It's already too late. They had the Paris Accords. We're already past this. So Donnie Tanahans, it says Donnie Tanahans, Trump believes there is some connectivity between human and climate change in a major U-turn. Oh, really? And here's this guy says on climate change, Trump says he's also, because he had his meeting with the New York Times, so this is where a lot of this is coming from. On climate change, Trump says he's also thinking about how much it will cost our companies and the effect on American competitiveness. Like a regular politician. Asked if he thought human activity was linked to climate change, he responded, I think there's some connectivity. Something. It depends on how much. He also said he would keep an open mind on whether he would pull the U.S. out of a landmark international climate change deal. Travis Nichols, a spokesman for Greenpeace, told The Independent that regardless of what Mr. Trump has said to the newspaper, the fact he had appointed a series of climate change deniers and oil industry lobbyists to his transition team indicated his administration would still be in climate denial. Guess who else appointed a exporter of fracking to head her transition team? Ken Salazar. That was Hillary Clinton did that. Are you kidding me? So, look, he's already turned around on that, Donnie Tanahans. Already turned around on climate change. Already saying, yeah. So, again, don't freak out. And Donnie Tanahans is going to be surprising us like this going all along. By the way, he's already reneged on the border wall. And now he's reneged on climate change, saying, hey, maybe there is. I predict that as soon as the water hits the $1 million condos in the Boston Harbor, I predict that's when there will be some action on climate change and not a day before that. Remember, what's happening in Syria right now started because of a drought caused by climate change. People don't talk about. They never talk about the real causes of anything in the news media. You know why? What Syria? First of all, Syria is happening because of two competing fossil fuel pipelines. One from Iran, one from Qatar, Saudi Arabia. Oh, you mean the Sunni and Shias? They're still from. And Assad doesn't want those pipes coming through because his pal Russia, they sell all the fossil fuels to Europe, and he doesn't need the competition. And he tells Assad, I'll back you, don't worry. And the United States is like, let's get rid of Assad because we got to get that pipeline through. That's what it's about. And that's why we're funding ISIS. Well, we're funding Saudi Arabia was funding ISIS. And so we're fighting. So we're really funding ISIS, and we're fighting ISIS and Assad. Assad and ISIS are fighting each other. We're fighting both of them. Anyway, Donnie Tanahan's he's already changing. I don't know what does this story tell you, Steph? This story tells me exactly what I said. If he's going to try crazy stuff, Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell will probably not go along with it. And if he does regular Republican stuff, they probably will go along. Right now, by the way, this is to the left of the Republican Party. Donnie Tanahan's to the left of the Republican Party on trade. He's to the left of Hillary Clinton on trade. He's also to the left of the Republican Party on climate change now. Plus, he's pledged to protect Medicare and Social Security, which is to the left of the Republican Party. He's got a lot of left positions of the Republican Party. So this is actually a bigger deal than I think people are talking about it like, oh, look, Donnie Tanahan's, look, he doesn't know what he means, what he says, what he's already, now he's to the left of the Republican Party. Look at Donnie Tanahan's pulling the party to the left.